The first sign came on a quiet Sunday morning when Anna noticed her partner's phone lighting up with a message that he quickly turned face down on the table. It wasn't unusual for him to get messages, but there was a sharpness in the way he moved, almost like a guilty reflex. She didn't say anything, just sipped her coffee, but in that moment, a thin thread of doubt wound its way into her mind. The second sign arrived a week later, when he suddenly started dressing better for work. New shirts, expensive cologne, even a fresh haircut. He had always been neat, but now there was a little extra effort, like he was preparing for someone's approval. Anna found herself watching him in small ways, silently piecing together changes that seemed too subtle to notice individually. The third sign was the late-night texting. He would sit on the couch with the screen turned away, typing quickly, smiling faintly to himself, and when she asked who it was, he would say it was a work thing and lock his phone immediately. The fourth sign came as a scent. A faint trace of perfume that was not hers clung to his shirt one evening when he hugged her hello after work. It wasn't strong, but Anna knew every smell in their home, every lotion she used, every fragrance he wore. This one was foreign. She didn't ask about it. She only filed it away in the growing cabinet of silent suspicions. Then there was the fifth sign, his excuses. Suddenly, there were late meetings, urgent client calls, sudden errands that kept him away from home longer than usual. He came back tired but strangely distracted, like his body was there but his mind was somewhere else. The sixth sign showed itself in the way he guarded his phone now, taking it with him even to the bathroom, keeping it face down on the nightstand, and turning on a new lock code she hadn't seen before. By the seventh sign, Anna could feel something in her chest tightening. It was the way he became irritable when she asked simple questions, his patience thinning for no reason. Conversations that used to flow easily now felt like interrogations to him. The eighth sign was a change in intimacy, not just physical, but emotional. He seemed distant, mechanical in his affection, as if performing a role rather than connecting. The ninth sign struck like a cold wind when Anna saw an unfamiliar name pop up on the car's Bluetooth connection history. Someone he had never mentioned, someone whose presence now lived invisibly between them. She didn't ask right away. She waited, watched, counted the moments when he came home late with new excuses, when his laughter sounded different, as if meant for someone else. The 10th sign was the final one, the one that made everything undeniable. One night, while he was in the shower, Anna's hands shook as she picked up his phone. The code wasn't hard to guess. She had known him too long, had loved him too well. The screen unlocked, and there it was, a string of messages, affectionate words, plans, secret jokes that didn't belong to her. She put the phone back where it was, sat down on the edge of the bed, and waited for the sound of running water to stop. When he came out, she looked at him for a long time, not with anger, but with the quiet clarity of someone who finally saw the truth that had been speaking to her all along, through 10 small signs that, together, told the whole story. The first sign wasn't loud. It was small enough to ignore. Anna woke to the soft vibration of a phone on the nightstand. Half asleep, she reached for it out of habit, but his hand was already there, quick, tense, sliding the phone under his pillow as though it might vanish if hidden from sight. He smiled, said something about a work notification, kissed her forehead, and went back to sleep. But Anna didn't. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the quiet hum of suspicion buzzing louder than the fan above her. The second sign arrived as a change in him, subtle but impossible to miss. He bought new shirts, tailored ones that fit better than the old. He started wearing cologne again, the kind she didn't pick out for him. Anna remembered when he used to dress up just to make her smile. Now he left the house looking sharp and came back smelling like someone else's perfume. She touched the collar of his shirt one evening as she took it to the laundry, holding it close just long enough to be sure she wasn't imagining it. The third sign lived in the glow of his phone screen. It followed him everywhere, the device becoming an extension of his hand. When she asked who he was texting, he would give vague answers, always smiling but never sharing. The smile was the worst part. It wasn't for her anymore. Anna caught herself staring at the screen's reflection in his eyes, trying to read the words before he locked it away. The fourth sign was distance, physical, emotional, spiritual. There were nights when he rolled over in bed and faced the other way, leaving a canyon of cold space between them. Anna tried reaching for him, but he mumbled something about being tired, turned off the lamp, and left her staring into the dark. She found herself tracing the edge of the sheet, wondering when the warmth had drained out of their room. The fifth sign came in the form of excuses. Meetings that ran too long, sudden trips to the store for things they didn't need, late-night calls that sent him out onto the balcony where she couldn't overhear. His voice was softer there, lighter, carrying a note she hadn't heard in months. When he came back inside, he looked refreshed, almost happy. By the sixth sign, Anna felt like she was living with a stranger. He started guarding his phone as though it held state secrets, slipping it into his pocket even when he was home. She tried not to pry, but each locked glance and nervous laugh carved something sharp into her chest. The seventh sign wasn't just about him, it was about her. She started doubting herself, wondering if she was too sensitive, too paranoid, too needy. When she asked him innocent questions, he sighed heavily, as if exhausted by her presence. Anna stopped asking, choosing silence over the sound of him pulling further away. The eighth sign was the change in affection. He still kissed her, still said goodnight, but the touches felt hollow, like motions he'd memorized long ago. Anna started waiting until he fell asleep just to whisper things to him she couldn't say when he was awake, tiny confessions of fear, of longing, of the ache that was growing inside her. The ninth sign came one morning when she got into his car and saw a new name on the Bluetooth connection list. It wasn't a colleague, not a friend she knew. Her hands tightened around the steering wheel, and she sat there in the driveway for a long time, staring at that name until her vision blurred. And then came the 10th sign, the one that broke the thin thread holding her world together. He left his phone on the counter one evening and stepped out to take the trash. Her fingers moved before she could stop them, unlocking it with the passcode she guessed on the first try. The messages were there, lined up like evidence in a trial. Good mornings, good nights, I miss yous, see you soons. She read until her throat closed up, until she could no longer tell which words were on the screen and which ones were in her head. When he came back inside, she was sitting at the table, staring at nothing. He froze when he saw her face, the trash bag still in his hand.
She didn't yell.
She didn't cry. She simply said his name once, softly, like it was both a question and an answer. And in the silence that followed, Anna realized she had known all along. The signs had been there, one by one, like breadcrumbs leading her here. The 10th sign was supposed to be the end, but in many ways it was only the beginning. Anna sat there, the phone still warm from her hands, her chest so tight she could barely breathe. The kitchen light buzzed overhead, harsh and white, making everything feel sharper. His jacket tossed carelessly over the chair, the half-empty glass of water by the sink, the faint trace of his cologne hanging in the air. When he walked back in, she didn't speak right away. She just watched him, really watched him, as though he were a stranger she was seeing for the first time. He looked startled, then wary. "What's wrong?" he asked, his voice a little too careful, like someone stepping onto thin ice. Anna didn't answer. Instead, she slid the phone across the table. The screen was still lit, the last message open, the words bright and damning, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow night." For a long moment he said nothing. The trash bag sagged in his hand, forgotten, as if the weight of it matched the weight settling over the room. His lips parted like he was about to speak, but then closed again. Anna's heart hammered against her ribs, but her voice, when it came, was calm. Too calm. "How long?" He swallowed, rubbed the back of his neck, tried to sit down but seemed unsure whether he deserved to. "It's not what you think," he started, but Anna cut him off with a laugh that didn't sound like her own. "It's exactly what I think," she said, and the words came faster now, sharper. "The late nights, the phone you can't put down, the smell on your clothes, the way you look at me like I'm a stranger standing in my own house. It's been months, hasn't it?" He opened his mouth again, but Anna was already standing, her palms flat on the table. For the first time in weeks, she felt strong. "You don't get to lie to me anymore," she said, her voice trembling but steadying with every word. You've been leaving me piece by piece for so long, I barely noticed until there was nothing left." His face crumpled then, some mixture of guilt and relief flashing across it, and Anna knew down to her bones, that she had been right about every single sign. She didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She just walked past him, the sound of her footsteps loud in the quiet apartment, and went to their bedroom. She packed slowly, methodically, like someone gathering evidence, like someone reclaiming what was hers. When she returned to the kitchen, her bag slung over her shoulder, he was still standing there, the phone dark on the table between them. Anna stopped at the door and turned once, looking at him one last time. "You taught me to listen," she said softly. "Not to you, but to everything you didn't say. And I did. I listened. And now I'm done." Then she left, stepping out into the cool night air, her breath catching but her back straight. The stars were faint above the city, but they were there, and for the first time in a long time, Anna felt the space between her ribs open up like a window. She didn't look back.